Hi everyone, it's Marisa from the blog and the skincare shop, bumblebeeapothecary.com. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about tallow. If you've heard the term, but you're not quite sure what tallow is, today you're going to learn all about it. Not only that, but by the end of this video, you're going to learn why traditional cultures prized things like tallow, what's so amazing about it, and why we need to bring it back into our modern lives. I have been using tallow for a long time now myself, and both in my kitchen and my skincare routine, and it's one of my most favorite traditional treasures. So these days we've really lost touch as a whole with the source of our food and the traditional wisdom behind some of those foods and why they're important for us to be consuming them. Our great-grandparents, for example, had a much closer connection with their food and where it came from. We've largely forgotten about traditional things like tallow and why they're so good for us, inside and out. If you're excited to learn about tallow, head down into the comments right now and type tallow for me. So what is tallow? Tallow is rendered beef fat. The rendering process simply means that raw beef fat is cooked down into a hot liquid and then solid at room temperature tallow. Now, any beef fat can be rendered into tallow, but the highest quality and best tallow comes from the beef fat around the kidneys. That fat contains the highest concentration of beneficial nutrients. Beef tallow from healthy grass-fed cattle contains a wide array of really important nutrients, some of which include vitamins A, D, E, K, and B12. It's rich in minerals. It's full of conjugated linoleic acid, which is oftentimes abbreviated CLA. It has amazing natural anti-inflammatory properties. It contains omega-7 fatty acids, which are a basic building block of skin. It contains palmitic acid, which helps improve the barrier function of skin. And it contains stearic acid, which helps to repair damaged skin and improve skin's flexibility. So you can see it's a pretty impressive list of nutrients that help us not only inside, but outside on our skin as well. Important to note that these nutrients are far more abundantly found in cattle that have been grass-fed versus cattle that have been grain-fed. Traditional cultures prized nutrient-dense things like tallow because of all the important nutrients that they contain, and they recognized that these nutrients helped with things like prolonged vitality into old age, easy fertility, healthy children, and preventing tooth decay. An interesting little bit of trivia is that McDonald's used to fry their French fries in tallow. They did this until animal rights activists pushed them into stopping that practice, and at that point they changed to using partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, which are horrible for our health, very inflammatory, and the body doesn't even recognize it as a fat it can use. Terrible thing. And then they flavor that hydrogenated oil with MSG to get some of the flavor back in it. The flavor, which interestingly is already there in beautiful, healthy beef fat. So while we're on the subject of French fries, tallow is one of the most perfect cooking oils that there is. So not only is it full of amazing nutrients like we just talked about, it has a very high smoke point too, of 400 to 420 degrees. So it's perfect for sautéing, frying, and it can be used in baking. It makes some really delicious homemade French fries, so I encourage you to try that out if you happen to get some tallow. It makes delicious donuts, fried chicken, and wonderful flaky pie crusts. I think it's so great that when wholesome, nutrient-dense traditional ingredients and cooking oils are used, all of these foods don't have to be avoided or enjoyed with guilt once in a while, but they can be eaten and enjoyed. So like I mentioned in the beginning, most Americans have really lost touch with the connection of where our food comes from and the process of getting that from where it is produced to our tables, whether that is where it's actually grown or the process of actually making it. More and more of us are realizing what a terrible toll the traditional American diet is having on our health. We're starting to turn more and more to these more traditional foods and ways of preparing food, and then also getting back to the source of where our food comes from and getting familiar with that. So if you do go and find a local farm and get some beef fat and render it into tallow, that is a huge step in the right direction of connecting with your food and taking part in the process of actually making your food, and then just providing a really healthy ingredient that you can use. So now that you're familiar with what tallow is, some of the great benefits that it has and things that you can do with it, what are you going to do next? I encourage you to find a local farmer, get some beef fat, and make tallow. It's actually a really easy process to render it into tallow yourself, and I have a video that explains the whole process from start to finish, and I will link that video below so you can check that out. And once you have your beautiful tallow, what are you going to make with it? Are you going to do french fries, donuts, fried chicken? Let me know in the comments. After that, be sure to head on over to my blog, bumblebeeapothecary.com, and check out the other recipes that I have for everything that you can make with tallow. If you liked this video and found it interesting, please hit that like button and share it with your friends. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button. I make new videos every week on living a sustainable, handcrafted lifestyle. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.